So Bliss Bites today, we will be making infused chimichurri sauce and steak. Here you go, recipe coming up. Please subscribe. Good afternoon and welcome to the Bliss Bites recipe blog. It's David here, and today we're going to be making a chimichurri sauce. Classic steak sauce. So I've gone ahead and already infused olive oil. I'll share a link in the description below if you need to know how to do that. But in the end, decarb it, 200 degrees, toast it for an hour. I put it in a jar, put it in the oil, the cannabis, and let them simmer in a pot of water for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then from there, I went and strained it, leaving me with beautiful infused olive oil. But today's recipe calls for parsley, a lot of parsley, a little bit of heat. Red chili flakes would be best, maybe a little bit of chili. I'm going with what I had on hand, and that happened to be cayenne pepper. There we go. Now, oregano is classic. I don't have oregano, I have herb de Provence. There's probably oregano in there, as well as a few other things, but something green to add to the parsley. Salt, pepper, a bunch of garlic. And let's get this set up and we'll see how it goes. So it'll be a few minutes here as we start chopping up the parsley. I don't have a good place to set the stems, we'll choose there. So I've got a big handful of parsley, roughly chop it. Stems removed, at least most of them. And here we go. So I've got a magic bullet. If you have a food processor, chop with what you have. It'll all be delicious. Drop that in there. Losing a little bit off the side, that's okay. Next we're going to need garlic. You know, I had some garlic hidden away back here. Now this recipe calls for a lot of garlic, good 3-4 cloves. If you like more garlic, use more garlic. Strangely enough, if you like less garlic, use less garlic. Easy. So I don't know how you peel your garlic. I tend to press mine to remove the skin. And then in this case it's going into the magic bullet, but I'll just give it a rough chop anyways. Let me get ahead and do that. Real nice garlic, incredibly fresh parsley. Enjoy looking at that green that's sticking to the board. There we go. And you see if you just give it a little crush, that's going to pull right off just like that. We go. 3, a little piece fell out. Perfect. And the last of them 4. Put that aside. Boom. Rough chop on our garlic. Very nice here. I'm just breaking this into slightly smaller pieces. The processor is going to do the bulk of the work. So that's it. That's going to be what we need for our recipe, at least the hardest parts of it. So what else did I say? I said a little bit of oregano. I had herb de Provence. And a little bit of that. Needs a little bit of heat. Red pepper flakes. I'm using cayenne. I probably like more than a little heat, so I'm going to give it a good shake. Again, do this to taste. This is your recipe. I'm just sort of giving a guide. Salt and pepper, always season. There we go. And a little bit of salt. I like using sea salt. Table salt's fine. Whatever you have on hand. There we go. And a little bit of liquid. Here we have vinegar. You'll want to use about a tablespoon. There. I'm going to blitz this up for us. So this will get a little bit loud. I apologize. There we go. Screw the base on that. Go ahead and get this blitzing. Just plugging it in. I realized it was not plugged in. Realizing my cord's just long enough to reach, making me happy as I set up this whole little workstation for us. And just blending that up here now. There we go. what's happening in here. I think it's about half done and half just sort of coagulated. Here's my spoon. Mix up the bottom stuff with the top stuff and give it another go. But I gotta say, the smell coming out of that already is fantastic. A lot of garlic, a lot of green. I can smell the parsley, I can smell the herb de Provence. Of course, the vinegar. So today we're learning I need to buy a food processor. And that's okay too. Sometimes you don't have quite what you need, but you make do. A lot of cooking is about making do with what you have, enjoying the ingredients you have, and not letting things discourage you. There we go. Some other little blitz. Starting to get there. I'm going to give it one more little boop. That's going to be a technical term as boop. It's what we're doing with the magic bullet. And then from there I'll pour in our oil. There we go. Perfect, perfect. So as you can see, it's still got some texture. You can smell everything coming off of this. It's incredibly fresh, and I'm just going to pour it into this bowl. There we go. Scrape out some of this. Now I feel like I'm forgetting something. Alright, our cannabis oil. Go ahead and add that in. Here's our jar. Bam. Put that right on there. And assuming it is airtight, this will keep in the fridge for about 10-14 days. Probably don't want to let it go more than 2 weeks, but assuming it's airtight, it will keep. There we go. Now traditionally, you would marinate a steak in this. Don't do that. If there's too much cannabis oil, you'd ruin it. Just go ahead and pour this over the top once your meat's cooked. Now I'm going to cook up a steak. We'll see how this looks here in a few minutes. Thank you. And I just really like how this bowl is looking. Green, herby, delicious. Wait till I fry up a steak. Whoop. So here is the steak we're going to use. A little flat iron steak. Salt and pepper on both sides. I'm going to heat up a pan, put some butter, put some olive oil in it, and then we'll fry this up real quick on each side. I just put the steak down. Here's the sizzle. Butter and olive oil going, and season on both sides. I personally like grass-fed beef, so this is some grass-fed beef I picked up from the local butcher at the Seaport Market. You get your meat where you like, but generally try to get the best quality steak you can. However, with a marinade like this, you don't need like a tenderloin or a ribeye. Get like a bavette, a flank steak. This flat iron steak are all great, and you'll see why here when we cut them up and put the marinade on. I just flipped the steak over. You can hear it frying still, and some great color on there too. So pulled this out of the pan, still medium rare, a little pink in the middle. I'm going to let this sit for 10-15 minutes. It'll cool off, and that's okay. I'm going to tent it with some tin foil in a minute. But we want these juices to rest, redistribute before I cut it up and put the sauce on. And there we go, chimichurri, steak, medium rare, infused. I don't know how you get high, guys, but at Bliss Bites, that's how we're doing, and we're doing it right.